Jeep Wrangler. Rugged off-road champion, but a rolling hazard when things get urgent. The 2018 Jeep Wrangler GL is famed for conquering unpaved terrain, but on asphalt during the Moose test, it's a different beast altogether. Its tall ride height and narrow track create a high center of gravity, causing excessive body roll during quick lane changes. When tested at 66 kilometers per hour, the Wrangler's chassis wobbled dangerously, flirting with rollover. The suspension is optimized for off-road articulation, which sacrifices stiffness needed for sharp, high-speed maneuvers. Tires designed for dirt grip don't stick well on smooth pavement. Stability control systems activate too late, unable to prevent instability. The steering is vague, offering poor feedback, making precise control difficult. This highlights an uncomfortable reality. The Wrangler's off-road capabilities come with a heavy on-road safety trade-off. The Wrangler uses a solid front axle, which is great for durability, but limits independent wheel movement, reducing tire contact during swerves. This compromises grip and contributes to its poor Moose test results. From rugged SUV to reliable pickup, yet not reliable enough when handling quick swerves. Number 9. Toyota Hilux. Tough as nails off-road, but dangerously unpredictable when avoiding obstacles. The Toyota Hilux, especially the 2015 and later models, boasts legendary toughness and reliability. Yet its truck-based architecture reveals a significant Achilles heel in the Moose test. The high center of gravity combined with a stiff leaf spring rear suspension causes dramatic body roll and unsettling rear instability. During testing, the Hilux understeered heavily entering the turn, then overcorrected with the tail swinging wide in a terrifying fishtail. At just 65 kilometers per hour, it struggled to maintain the required lane, showing how its truck suspension compromises emergency handling. Toyota's stability control systems are present but rudimentary compared to modern passenger cars. They intervene late and can't fully compensate for the physical limitations of the chassis design. The Hilux's design prioritizes payload and off-road toughness over nimble handling, which can be dangerous in sudden evasive maneuvers on highways. Number 8. Lexus RX. Plush interiors and luxury tech fail to hide dangerous instability. The Lexus RX's smooth ride and elegant cabin mask troubling handling issues exposed during the Moose test. The 2015 Plus RX models exhibit severe body roll due to their high ride height and soft suspension tuning. At 67 kilometers per hour, the RX lost composure with repeated rear-end slides and unpredictable steering feedback. The vehicle's electronic safety aids like stability and traction control struggled to keep pace with the sudden demands. Instead of helping, they sometimes seemed slow or ineffective, allowing the car to drift dangerously during the maneuver. Despite premium price tags, luxury SUVs like the RX must balance comfort with emergency handling. And here, Lexus's compromise becomes clear. Plush ride at the cost of safety and rapid lane changes. The RX's McPherson strut front suspension, paired with a multi-link rear, is tuned for comfort over sharp handling, creating excessive roll during sudden swerves. A compact French hatchback with quirky style but questionable safety chops awaits. Number 7. Catroan C4. Unique styling and comfort-focused suspension undermine safety when it matters most. The third-generation Catroan C4, 2020 onwards, is known for its quirky design and plush ride, but these features come with a price: poor Moose test performance. Its suspension, designed for softness and absorbing bumps, compromises lateral grip and stability during abrupt maneuvers. At just 66 kilometers per hour, the C4 understeered significantly, losing the line. Excessive body roll unsettled the chassis, and steering felt disconnected with a vague center point, making it difficult for drivers to feel confident in tight emergency turns. Citroen's electronic aids attempt to intervene, but they're too subtle and slow, failing to prevent the car from drifting wide. Prioritizing comfort and ride quality in small hatchbacks can severely affect emergency maneuvering, as seen here. When buying budget SUVs, safety can be a hidden casualty.
Number 6. Dacia Duster. Budget-friendly but budget safety. Dangerous limits exposed in the Moose test. The Dacia Duster, second generation, launched in 2018, targets affordability, but shows glaring safety compromises in emergency handling. It barely clears 64 kilometers an hour before body roll becomes excessive and steering precision vanishes. The Duster's suspension is too soft, causing the chassis to lean heavily. This excessive roll triggers unpredictable weight shifts that challenge even electronic stability control, which often seems overwhelmed and late to react. Steering feedback is vague and inconsistent, leaving drivers uncertain during the critical moment of avoiding an obstacle. Despite a decent safety rating in crash tests, the Duster's dynamic handling exposes weaknesses that static tests don't reveal. The Duster's low price point comes with compromises that directly impact life-saving maneuverability. Even world bestsellers can stumble badly under emergency demands. Number 5. Toyota Corolla Sedan. The world's favorite sedan surprisingly underwhelms in sudden, evasive control. The 2018 generation Toyota Corolla sedan, though a global bestseller, disappoints in the Moose test with sluggish steering and lackluster chassis response. At 68 kilometers an hour, the Corolla begins to understeer badly, losing grip and drifting wide. Its steering system feels numb, with delayed feedback that hinders precise corrections. Stability control and traction systems, though present, intervene late and can't fully prevent the car from sliding off course. Toyota's reputation for reliability doesn't extend here to sharp emergency handling, revealing a concerning gap in its safety credentials. The Corolla uses a torsion beam rear suspension in many markets, which limits independent wheel movement and reduces grip in dynamic swerves. Next up, an electric crossover with futuristic looks but flawed handling. Number 4. Volkswagen ID4. Electric power meets handling challenges in this ambitious but flawed SUV. Volkswagen's ID4 is a flagship for their electric future, but the Moose test reveals unexpected weaknesses. At 70 kilometers per hour, the ID4 suffers from severe understeer entering the evasive maneuver, followed by sudden overcorrection. The car's throttle response is laggy, and steering feels vague and inconsistent, hindering the driver's ability to precisely navigate the cones. While the low battery placement helps with center of gravity, the suspension tuning prioritizes comfort over sharp handling. Stability control systems try to assist, but electronic aids can't mask fundamental design shortcomings. The ID4's failure here underscores that EV innovation must also meet rigorous dynamic safety standards. The ID4 uses a front McPherson strut and rear multi-link setup with softer springs, compromising sharp responses in high-stress situations. Now, a luxury compact SUV surprisingly falls short. Number 3. BMW X1. The small X1 struggles to live up to its sporty BMW reputation. The BMW X1 second generation, launched in 2015, shares brand DNA with better handling models, but its Moose test performance is disappointing. At 67 kilometers an hour, excessive body roll and unsettled rear end behavior dominate. Steering feels numb and disconnected, while the chassis lacks the crispness expected from BMW. Stability control intervenes, but can't overcome the car's imbalance and vague weight distribution. This performance reminds us that not all BMWs offer dynamic safety excellence. Compact models sometimes sacrifice handling finesse for practicality. The X1's front-wheel drive platform and high center of gravity contribute to its unstable emergency handling. Now on to a pickup that, like the Hilux, struggles badly. Number 2. Ford Ranger. Rugged and capable, but a liability in a split-second swerve. The Ford Ranger's 2019 generation brings modern tech, but the Moose test exposes heavy flaws. Body roll is pronounced, and the rear end slides out unpredictably even at relatively low speeds. Steering response is slow, lacking the sharpness needed for emergency maneuvers. Stability control and ABS act reactively, failing to proactively prevent oversteer or understeer. This is a harsh reminder that pickups, while tough and utilitarian, may pose hidden dangers in fast, evasive driving. The Ranger suspension is designed for load carrying, which compromises its dynamic control under sudden, heavy lateral forces. And finally, the worst offender of the entire test. Number 1. Jeep Grand Cherokee. A flagship SUV, but an outright failure in emergency handling. The Jeep Grand Cherokee, despite its size and status, delivers the poorest Moose test performance at only 64 kilometers per hour. Excessive body lean, violent rear fishtailing, and delayed electronic intervention made control impossible. Even skilled drivers struggled to keep it on course. Stability control lagged and was ineffective against the massive weight shifts during swerves. This glaring safety shortfall highlights the risks of heavy SUVs with tall ride heights and soft suspension when seconds count. The Grand Cherokee's coil spring suspension prioritizes comfort and off-roadability over road handling, with a chassis too soft to manage rapid direction changes. These 10 vehicles showcase how critical handling and stability are in emergency situations, areas where many fall short. The Moose test isn't about speed or horsepower, it's about control when every millisecond matters. When shopping for a car, don't just rely on airbags or crash test ratings. Investigate how well the car handles sudden swerves and evasive maneuvers, because in the real world, safety depends on a vehicle that stays composed when the unexpected happens. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the Moose test's worst offenders. If this helped you understand what really matters in vehicle safety, subscribe for more expert insights. Stay safe and always expect the unexpected on the road.